bring 100 horsepower, but now, ladies and gents, can introduce to you 2 horsepower. This 2 horsepower team is brought to us by Davy Duncan from John's Haven. And the horses that we've got there is Misty. Misty is the brown one in the inside of the ring. And Misty is half Highland and half Clydesdale. Misty is 8 years old. And beside Misty, well, because he's only 8 years old, he's taken his mother with him. So his mother is there as well. She's got Marie, and she is a full Highland horse. So it's mother and son we're introducing to you today. The Clydesdale horse and horses, they played a vital role in powering loads of different things, and there's been no other source of power which has been in existence longer than horsepower. So horses have been very important to us all. And certainly in the past, if you look at agriculture in this area of Aberdeenshire, the Clydesdale horse, like any other areas of the country, played a vital contribution. The Clydesdale horse started its training when he was about 3 years old. When he was born, the horseman would have put a bridle onto its head, and it was accustomed to people, because the young foal would have walked around with its mother in the fields, and his mother was working, and the foal would have just followed on. The Clydesdale horse had to be trained in 3 different things. It had to be trained to do what they're doing today, pulling the plough. So that was done. That was usually done with 2 or 3 men. The routine of that was that a piece of wood was attached to the harness, and that was pulled for a start. And then, as time went by, the load was increased. The Clydesdale horse was also trained to pull a cart. It had to have a saddle on its back and the 2 shafts of the cart at either side of the horse. That was slightly more dangerous, and 2 or 3 men were involved in that. The training of the Clydesdale would have been done in the evenings. They couldn't have spent time through the day to do it, just done as spare time. Also, the Clydesdale horse had to be trained to carry the horseman on his back. And yes, it's just like the cowboy and western things you see, where they're training horses, the cowboy goes onto the back and the horse throws the cowboy off. Well, that happens also with the Clydesdale, a big, strong animal. I'm told by a gentleman who did train Clydesdales that if the Clydesdale threw you off his back, the horseman had to get on the Clydesdale's horse back again. You couldn't leave the horse knowing that he had thrown the Clydesdale horseman off his back. So the poor old horseman had to get up and onto his back again. So the Clydesdale trained in these 3 different techniques of working. After a shift in the field, and the Clydesdales would have worked maybe from 6:30 in the morning to 11 o'clock, and they didn't start again until 1. That break from 11 o'clock till 1 wasn't for the horseman. That was purely to rest the Clydesdales. The horseman had to groom his horse, feed his horse, water his horse, and look after the horse. And it's said that some farmers respected the horses more than they respected the men. A Clydesdale horse would have cost about £100 in the 1930s and 40s. So to pull a plough, it's £200 the farmer had to pay for horses. So it's important to breed his own foals and bring on his own foals to power the farm. Some farms and some small crofts, they couldn't afford to have 2 horses. So what happened there was there would be 1 horse on the croft, and there would be a cow, a milk cow, and the milk cow and the Clydesdale horse or the Highland horse worked together as a pair. So I'm sure the horses today, and Davy and his team, you know, the horses haven't seen you, they haven't seen me, they haven't seen steam engines, they haven't heard commentaries about this, and they're behaving absolutely fantastically. So thank you very much, Davy, for bringing them here. Could we give Davy and his team a lovely round of applause, ladies and gents? Thank you. And if you want to find out more about the horses, Davy would be delighted to show you and speak to you. And the horses are very quiet, so you can go down there with children and get some super photos taken as well.
watch the car by or two other. So pop a noise for the. You've got on your board, please. Thank you. Big bond doing start this something. How much drill? 51. Hello. Fine. Are you? Yeah.
Well, ladies and gents, the Kintore type band and the lovely Gordon Captain are going to lead off the parade for us today. So.
Right, Bob, just about to start. And then after you start off, I'm sure you won't have much lunch if you have to sit here. Okay. Sorry. Okay. See you later. Bye.
Start the parade this afternoon. The Kintore type band playing Scotland together, and one of the smallest scale models that we've got is the very fast engines you see. Small steam engine like that, and it's pulling 2 people, so you can see how the power of that small steam engine can really work today. And there are steam engines which can be bought which are told half the size of that first one. So if you want to buy a steam engine, it doesn't have to be 100,000 pounds you're paying, you can pay an awful lot less. And you just see the miniatures, the scale models are all different sizes. You can buy them in kit form and assemble them yourself. And they are exactly the same mechanism as the full steam engines as well. And usually the same main brand is the big ones. And then following on from the miniatures, we've got the non-scale ones, the ones which are spend a lot of time in their working life from the late 1800s right through the 1940s. The first one in the ring is Fenella, and that would be a heavy haulage locomotive. This belongs to the Barrack Museum. Bill Barrack used to work this particular engine in the wood by pulling out trees out of the wood. So it wouldn't be seen in the pristine condition it is today. So Fenella is a heavy-duty engine, general-purpose engine used for heavy haulage. So you see the second steam engine coming in is a Fordham steam wagon, a 5-ton Fordham. This vehicle has got an interesting history. It worked in Aberdeen Harbour to build the breakwater, but during the time that it was working there, an accident happened and Eamon Lassie fell into the harbour. So she was at the foot of Aberdeen Harbour for quite a while and then rescued from the harbour and continued with her work, working for the Harbour Board. And you see this one has got chain-driven mechanism to drive the back wheels. It's got solid rubber tyres, no stringing or very little suspension. The roads at the time would have been very poor roads, just a bit like they are today. And that wagon would be 5 tons. general purpose engine coming in from the Murray County highways. Many councils owned the engines as well. They were owned by contractors and local authorities. Now you see another wagon coming in, and these wagons, some of them can travel up to 50 miles an hour, and the design of these wagons later improved with rubber tyres and suspension, and pneumatic tyres would have been on them. And the shape of some of these wagons started to be seen as a shape of diesel wagons of the future. And you see the town mayor's one, the town mayor's cooperative society coming in. You can see that looks like an early diesel lorry. So diesel took the same design functions as the modern, at the time, the lorries. So there were very similarities, and that's a steam lorry as well. And these steam lorries, which were designed and manufactured right up to 1940, and they could travel at speeds 20-30 miles an hour. And it was usually a two-man operation, where one man did the driving and the other man did the stoking of the boiler. Some of the most sort of common sights with steam engines was the actual road roller, because in the past the road roller came to every town and village just to repair or sort the road, and the road roller would have had a truck behind it with all the tools that the guys required to repair the road, and also a living van behind that. So the guys working on the roads would have lived in the van and worked at that location. The M1, which was opened in 1959, that was rolled using a steam road roller. So they were in operation in Aberdeenshire, for example, right up until the 60s. And we've got the steamer coming in Rob Roy, and it's a general purpose engine as well. Now, you can see in some of the engines, they've got winches just behind the wheel, next to the body, and these winches were used if they worked in the roof for pulling out trees, and the winch was a good addition on the engines. If the engine did have an accident or went into a pit, they could be pulled out. A lot of the engines are given names at the factory, and if you wanted to buy a new steam engine, you could christen that engine the name of the engine. And they've got standing here on there from the Crathes. That engine had a nasty accident. It was in Moses, some engine Moses into a trailer, and that steam engine fell and caught the trailer and damaged it severely, and then it was restored again by Sandy to the state place just now. So the stories behind each of the engines, and you should speak to the owners and they're able to tell you a lot of things about it. The steam engine coming in just now is Showman's engine, and the Showman's engines were considered to be the most flashy and elaborate of all the steam engines. Today, when we've got electricity, we fail to remember that way back in the 1920s and 30s, when new electricity was part of the general public's facilities, when the Ford came to town, the shipment engines were full, about 5 or 6 wagons on the road with all the four rides, and then when it set up, it separated electricity from the generator in the front. So for the general public to come to the fair, it was an extravagant thing to see all these things lit up with electric lights. And the showmen took great pride in keeping their engines looking pristine. And the showman's engine was seen with near polished glasses and bright coloured paint. The Showman's engines also had winch facilities on the back, so that once the player was parked in its stance, all the rides were built using the steam power of the winch also in the back of the engine there. It was considered that the Showman's engine was one of the hardest worked engines because it worked all day firing the rides. It helped to erect the rides, and then it transported the rides from time to time. Things that the steam engines required was a good supply of water and a good supply of coal. On the roads there were areas dammed up so that the steamers could stop every 6 or 8 miles and top up the water supply. You'll see some of the steamers have got hoses at the back, and these hoses were put into the burns or into the ditches, and that sucked up water into the boilers. You'll see a Showman's engine called Puddock just comes into a stance in the centre of the ring. Puddock was a converted engine, and many engines were converted into different things. Part of the year, engines could have a road roller, and then part of the year they could be transformed into a general purpose engine by taking off the front roller and putting on front wheels. And that kept the machine working all year. But the Puddock got its name because with the pneumatic tyres fitted, the steam engine jumps about like a puddock. So that's how it got its name. And that was a conversion from a different engine. Now it is a Showman's engine. Names for the engines are usually female, and here we see Daisy coming into its stance, another barracks from the Barrack Museum, a road roller. To drive a steam engine, ladies and gents, your normal car licence would do. To drive a road roller, you need to pass a special test. Now, after the steam engines, the cars are coming into the ring, so could I ask the car guys to get ready to come into the ring after the steamers leave?